It's the most wonderful time of the year. Lights everywhere, homes glowing, tables abundant, carols, candles, laughter. Christmas is meant to represent celebration, harmony, joy, a season that feels festive, magical, and full of warmth. A time when love feels closer, easier, more present. And yet, quietly, almost invisibly, something else sits at the heart of how many of us mark this time of year. Not just at Christmas, but across cultures and faiths, the idea of sacrifice. Stay with me for a moment because today I want to explore not just religion but tradition itself. A simple but uncomfortable question. How did offerings of animal lives become so normal in moments meant to honor peace? And more importantly, does that idea still belong here today? To understand this, we need to step back before scriptures, before organized religion, before modern belief systems. Because sacrifice didn't begin with any one faith, it began with humanity. Long before modern religions, humans were trying to make sense of forces they couldn't control. Nature felt unpredictable, survival felt uncertain, life and death felt fragile. Across ancient cultures, animals came to symbolize life itself. Their blood was seen as sacred, transformative, powerful. Sacrifice was believed to cleanse wrongdoing, restore balance, express gratitude, or seek protection. These were not random acts of violence. They were formalized, they were structured, and they were symbolic. So sacrifice became a language, a way humans attempted to communicate with the divine. This existed across belief systems, continents, and time periods. In ancient Jewish traditions, for example, animal sacrifice played a central role in religious life, shaping festivals, community gatherings, and collective identity. Within the worldview of that time, it made sense. But belief systems evolve, which brings us to Christmas. Christmas marks a symbolic shift. The birth of Jesus is framed from the very beginning as the arrival of peace into the world. Not dominance, not conquest, but peace. Jesus is repeatedly described through the imagery of a lamb, gentle, innocent, non-violent. Some representations suggest the symbolism was meant to move humanity away from sacrifice, not deepen it. The Christmas story itself reflects this shift. A child born amongst animals, not above them. Gifts that symbolize life, mortality, and devotion. A message centered on love, reconciliation, and mercy. The focus moves away from offerings taken from life and towards values lived through action. This is where the documentary Christspiracy enters the conversation. Rather than presenting conclusions, the film raises questions. Questions that may feel uncomfortable but worth examining.
Is there a spiritual way to eat animals? And if so, is there a spiritual way to kill an animal? And what would Jesus do?
It suggests that Jesus consistently emphasized mercy over ritual sacrifice, that he challenged systems built on exploitation, that the temple economy was not only spiritual but also industrial and profitable, involving large-scale animal trade. It asks whether his confrontation in the temple was solely about financial corruption or also about the commodification of life itself. These are interpretations, not settled theology. Mainstream Christian scholarship holds that Jesus fulfilled the sacrificial system rather than writing it off as immoral, making further sacrifice unnecessary rather than forbidden. But the emotional question still remains. Why does animal suffering still feel so comfortably embedded within celebrations of a faith rooted in peace? If the message shifted, why didn't our practices shift with it? Today, sacrifice rarely looks like ritual. It looks like abundance, a festive meal, a holiday table. It's framed as cultural, familiar, unquestioned. When something is wrapped in tradition, it slowly stops being examined. Habitat replaces intention. We no longer ask why expressions of gratitude, togetherness, or joy are so often tied to taking another life, especially when alternatives exist. Choosing plant-based celebrations does not mean rejecting faith. It does not mean abandoning culture. It does not mean disrespecting tradition. It means allowing tradition to evolve. Christmas celebrates goodwill, togetherness, reverence for life. Choosing food that does not require harm when abundance already exists aligns deeply with those values. And this is not new. Across cultures, celebration without sacrifice has always existed. Marzipan made from almonds and cashews has been part of European Christmas tables for centuries. In India, festive sweets were made from coconut, jaggery, nuts, and fruit have long marked joy without harm. Fruit cakes, spice breads, puddings, hot chocolate, and festive meals can all be made without dairy, eggs, or animal fats. Plant-based versions of traditional dishes still bring people together. Nothing essential is lost. Something meaningful is gained. So this Christmas, amid lights and laughter, maybe pause just long enough to reflect. Traditions were created by people. They can be reimagined by people. Peace is not only something we sing about, it's something we practice. Wishing you a Christmas filled with warmth, reflection, and gentleness for all lives we share this world with. Merry Christmas.